Okay, so ready to dive in. Today, we're heading to a place everyone thinks they know, New York City.
Ah, yes, the city that never sleeps.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But we're going beyond the typical tourist stuff, the Empire State Building, Times Square, all
You're
that.
going deeper.
Exactly. And our source for this is, well, it's this really fun video packed with these, little known facts about New York.
The kind of stuff that'll make you, even if you're a New Yorker, go, huh, I never knew that.
Yeah, do you know the Big Apple, the nickname? It actually comes from horse racing back in the 1920s.
Yeah, it originally referred to the biggest prizes at the racetracks.
Not the fruit at all.
Nope, not at all. But what's really cool is that musicians and journalists back then, they actually started using the Big Apple to symbolize the city itself.
So like a marketing campaign almost.
Exactly. They were playing up New York's energy, its ambition, making it the place to be.
Wow, so it was like a deliberate branding thing, huh?
It really was.
That's fascinating. Speaking of place to be, get this, New York City. It's the most linguistically diverse city on the planet.
Oh yeah, over 800 languages spoken there. It's incredible.
800, I mean, can you imagine the daily life there?
Yeah.
The mix of cultures, the perspectives.
It's like a microcosm of the world all in one city.
Okay, this next one is just mind-blowing. So, Grand Central Terminal, right? Huge train station in Manhattan. Well, there's this spot there called the Whispering Gallery.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
And you can whisper to someone, across this massive space, and they can hear you perfectly.
It's all about the acoustics, right?
Exactly. The architecture, it focuses the sound waves in this really specific way.
Makes you wonder what other acoustic tricks are hidden in architecture around the world.
Right. What else are we missing?
Exactly.
Okay, now imagine this. It's 1780, freezing cold winter, and New York Harbor completely freezes over.
Whoa, seriously.
Seriously. People were walking from Manhattan to Staten Island on the ice.
That's wild. I mean, can you imagine that happening today?
Right. It makes you think about, climate change, how much the city's changed.
And all the infrastructure we have now to prevent that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. Okay, this next one is, it's a bit more on the organizational side, but it's interesting. The Empire State Building, it actually has its own zip code, 10118.
Makes sense though, right? With a building that big, that much mail.
Yeah, it's like a city within a city.
Exactly. Needs its own system.
And speaking of back to Grand Central Terminal for a second, did you know there's a Tiffany clock there, a giant clock worth $20 million?
Oh yeah, it's iconic. Just a symbol of, well, New York's extravagance, I guess.
Yeah, that attention to detail, even in everyday objects.
Makes you look twice at everything.
Right, what else is worth a fortune?
Exactly.
Okay, last one, and this might be a surprise. There are actually more women than men living in New York City. 53% women to 47% men.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's a trend in a lot of big cities, actually.
What do you think that means for the city, socially, economically?
Well, it could affect everything from job markets to housing costs to, even dating.
Wow. Yeah, it's a whole other deep dive, really.
It really is.
Well, that was a lot. What fact surprised you the most today?
I think for me, it's the Big Apple story. It's amazing how this nickname, right, became this powerful symbol for a whole city.
And it was all intentional, like a marketing strategy.
Yeah, really makes you think about the power of words, of branding.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder, what other hidden stories are out there?
Yeah.
In the places we think we know.
Definitely. Every place has its secrets, its untold stories. We just have to look for them.
So true. Well, that's our deep dive into the Big Apple. Thanks for joining us. Keep exploring, everyone.
Absolutely. There's always more to discover.